We stand at the threshold of a new era, one that promises unprecedented connectivity and technological advancement. With the arrival of 6G by the year 2030, we are about to experience speeds, capabilities, and innovations that once seemed like science fiction. Now, as we move forward to the future, we need to ask ourselves, what will this new technology mean for our health, our environment, our society, and our very way of life? Health and safety are priority. While current wireless technologies like 4G and 5G have shown minimal effects on biological tissues, keyword minimal, there are growing questions about the potential for higher frequency radiation, especially as we scale up to 6G. The higher power levels needed for this new technology may lead to an increased heating of our human flesh, which can potentially cook us from the inside out, with so many heavy metals in the air and food, which are absorbed by the body at this time as well as going forward. We also need to consider non thermal effects. Now, when exposed to electromagnetic fields, some people do experience headaches, fatigue, and dizziness. Okay, this is electromagnetic hypersensitivity, as what it's called. Now, EMFs from 6G could potentially cause subtle biological changes at the cellular or molecular level. Okay, this could alter cellular metabolism, um, repairing of the body, healing, okay, or just restructuring the genetic makeup as a whole. It can affect the nervous system, potentially interfere with the body's natural sleep wake cycles. Okay, it could influence reproductive health. We could cause DNA damage, like mutations, possibly leading to cancer or other genetic issues. And then also, it could potentially contribute to inflammation or autoimmune conditions. As we move forward, we can expect a significant increase in the number of transmitters and antennas, each operating at higher frequencies. Now, this could contribute to what some are calling electromagnetic pollution. This can potentially disrupt ecosystems and affect species like bees and birds that rely on natural electromagnetic fields. Now, also, the energy demands of 6G are expected to be higher with more antennas and advanced infrastructure required. Okay, now failing to incorporate renewable energy sources could worsen the global carbon footprint and inflict more damage on the planet. Now, we must also ask ourselves, how will this technology impact privacy and security? Now, with faster speeds and more connected devices, 6G will generate an enormous amount of data, our personal data, to be exact. But the concern here is the surveillance this could enable. The more connected we become, the more our lives could be scrutinized, and we must question who controls this data and what it means for our personal freedoms. We must ensure that cybersecurity doesn't fall behind. The interconnectedness of devices will create new vulnerabilities, and this could potentially expose critical infrastructure to cyber attacks. Social and economic disruptions are also on the horizon as automation and AI become integrated to 6G. Um, we may see more job displacement in the traditional industries. Okay, now the digital divide could also widen. Okay, this would leave the underserved communities behind as they, may lack access to some of these cutting edge technologies that, are reshaping the world. But we must work to ensure that no one is left out of the equation and, put proper plans in place for retraining and reskilling. Um, Okay, now for the workers who build and maintain these systems, we need to also keep in mind their health and safety because with them being on the front lines, they're installing antennas and base stations and may be exposed to higher levels of RF radiation. Now, even though the exposure limits are regulated, we still need further research to make sure that the safety of these workers um, is, a priority. Okay. Now, we also face potential unintended consequences with 6G's ability to create ultra fast experiences like augmented reality, virtual reality, and holographic communication. There's the risk of digital addiction. We see this now. Now, of course, people may spend even more time in these hyper connected worlds, leading into social isolation and mental health concerns. And then, of course, there's a possibility that this ultra connectivity could be exploited for mass surveillance, which would ultimately diminish personal freedoms. Are we too reliant on technology? In this world of constant connectivity, a failure, whether from a cyber attack, a natural disaster, or system malfunction, could have devastating impact on everything from our healthcare systems to our energy grids. Now, in the midst of those concerns, we must also think about, who is conducting these studies as to if the technology is safe for our human bodies. Okay. More importantly, who's regulating the safety standards? Can we trust the institutions that are supposed to protect us? Or is there a need for greater transparency and independent research? Now, let us not forget that our bodies are not just vessels for technology to invade. We are living systems, intricately designed and connected, almost like a vast organic antenna. But over time, our bodies have been exposed to heavy metals, poor diets, and also environmental toxins that disrupt this natural flow of communication. Now, the rise of 6G could further disturb the delicate balance within us and further damage our self managing functions. Now, what are the long term effects of these technologies? Now, allegedly, phones can potentially measure EEG waves with 6G. Now, it's as if this is happening before our eyes. Now, EEG or electroencephalography is a medical technique used to measure and record the electrical activity of the brain. It involves placing small electrodes on the scalp, which can detect the electrical signals produced by the neurons or nerve cells in the brain as they communicate with one another. So these electrical signals are visualized as waveforms, which are then analyzed to understand various brain functions and mental states. Let that sink in. Your thoughts, your internal communication potentially being read and influenced, it explains those moments when you think of something and suddenly there's an ad for it on your phone. Now, as we push forward into this new technological frontier, we need to remember one fundamental truth: the future is in our hands. Let's make it a future that is safe, fair, and sustainable for all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.